Hey everybody, it's me, John Anthony Chihak Soltero, and yes, I am sporting my Always Be Thor shirt that I proudly wore today to the Sunday second day of the Harley's Toys and Comics last minute toy and comic book event. And what an event it was. 2 days spent having fun, drawing some really cool stuff for people, hanging out with friends, and making some really good sales. It was financially, it was a very prosperous event for me. Right before the holidays, it's kind of nice. And while I like to say that it's not all about the money, that really does make a difference. It does make it a little bit easier, and it does make me feel good that people want to buy my artwork, want to buy my comics, some of the collectibles I might have had. But I'm going to show you guys some of the really, really sweet stuff I got. So what I'm going to start out with is an art trade I did with my friend Sarah. She is on Instagram as Dolls Devil Art. Her stuff is great. She's working on a comic book right now. It's on Tapas as well. And I will put the link to her Tapas account in the description so you can check her out. She did these really sweet die cuts. Let me turn this off, see if it shows up a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. This like zombie ice cream cone, ghostly ice cream cone. It's really, really sweet. I think it might go really well with my Bubba Patrol and Bubba Club stickers that adorn my brand new water jug from my friend John Reese. Also, she did this really sweet square space or square shaped has-been hotel piece. Another friend of ours named Bree, who's been doing some really great stuff, getting a lot of attention for herself on Instagram. And some of the other artists that I know have caught on to Has Been Hotel and started doing it. Great art style. Her art style really lends itself to this. She was sitting with Sweet Frill, who does a lot of custom fabrication, chokers, hair bows that you can then turn into bow ties. I'm not a bow tie kind of guy, but I did want to support her. And she also had these really great stud earrings in both like a white and a purple. So I have some people in my life that I think will greatly appreciate these and will, excuse me, be giving them to them as well. You can follow her on Instagram at Sweet Frill, all one word. Those are really nice. I did another trade with Bailey, who works at Harley's Toys and Comics. And I was eyeballing a couple of the Marvel Legends figures that he had, and he was really cool and has traded figures with me before. So this was really awesome. I got the Beta Ray Bill Marvel Legend, which is just super freaking sweet. I'm definitely going to have to open this. It's got an articulated jaw so you could open and close his mouth. And then this, I didn't even realize they made this. I don't know why I didn't realize it, or maybe I knew and then I forgot. Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham Marvel Legend. It's so friggin' awesome, and I've gotten really big on Spider-Ham since Into the Spider-Verse. But I've liked the quirky animalist characters that they've had in the Marvel Universe for years, like Dr. Doom, and had been wanting to get a Peter Porker first appearance, and then the first book of his ongoing series. And then also there was some other people there whom at an earlier event I bought the trade paperback that has all of the early Peter Porker stuff. And then Tony from Old Pueblo Comics is the one who sold me Peter Porker Spider-Ham first appearance, and then the #1 in the ongoing series as well. So this gigantic stack of comics I got, I got at the show as well. I also bought some homemade dog biscuits that the Bubbas really, really love and wanted to do something special for them for Christmas. So I was really happy that the cookie people were there and took advantage of, they had cheese and peanut butter flavored cookies. And the Bubbas have had the peanut butter ones. I don't think we've had the cheese ones yet. So we'll be getting to those pretty soon, or they'll be getting to those pretty soon. So here's some of here's all the books that I picked up. I got an Amazing Spider-Man 253. That's the issue right after the very first appearance of the black costume. So it's an early appearance, but the second and third appearances came in other Spider-Man titles. I got an Amazing Spider-Man. This is from one of the more regular series, one of the newer series reboots of it. But it's issue 8. It is Spider-Girl's Last Stand. And I was a big Spider-Girl fan when the series launched in the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe. I also got a Amazing Spider-Man 350 anniversary issue. It's a great, spectacular cover, as it were. Just a really, really nice pose and everything. That's an Eric Larson artwork right here. A Wolverine Son of Canada special Canadian edition from Marvel. That's just pretty sweet right there, because you got Hulk, who he's, his first appearance was with. He's always done stuff with Spider-Man, and they're kind of the polar opposites of each other. Most of the stack I got from Tom, who used to be the owner of Fantasy Comics, and he had a ton of dollar books. And all these books are in phenomenal condition, and these are just personal favorites of mine. Howard the Duck, number 3, Master of Quack Fu. Howard the Duck, number 4. Howard the Duck, number 5, Arena of No Return. This cover inspired me to do a variant for the 5th issue of Euthanasia, where Agnew fought Domo. And I'd love to do a redo of this. And I think that was 2009. So, 2010 or 2020 is coming up on us, but this might be a really good opportunity to do a redraw on my homage to this. The first homage I ever did. Howard the Duck, number 14. John Carter, Warlord of Mars, number 3. John Carter, Warlord of Mars, number 2. And I actually already have a Warlord of Mars, number 1. Star Wars, number 11, from the original Marvel series. Elektra Assassin, number 1. This is the Sienkiewicz artwork over the Frank Miller storyline. These are really, really cool, too. I don't think I'll find a number 1 very cheaply on these. This is Jack Kirby at his best. I believe this is Kirby. Anyways, forgive me if I'm wrong. OMAC, number 2. Number 3. And number 4. And this I just had to get because I saw this at Bookman's East, and I didn't buy it, but I took a picture of it and sent it to one of my friends. And they were like, how does the Pope have an action? I jumped the shark on that one. I buried the lead. John Paul, Pope John Paul II. This book was at Bookman's East on their rack, and I was just like, this is freaking hilarious. I grew up Catholic. And John Paul II was the Pope when I was still, part of the church and stuff like that. So it's kind of just a funny thing to have. This is a super, super sweet book. Amazing Spider-Man 289. This is the reveal of the Hobgoblin. The Punisher, number 50 anniversary issue. Now, these are just super, super fun books, and from the Punisher down to, like, the rest of the stack. I think is what I bought today. Adventure Comics, Dial H for Hero, $4.90, $4.85, $4.83, and $4.80. I then also got Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man 24. That's a pretty sweet cover. Journey into Mystery, number 7. These were not this is not from the era of Thor, when he first appeared anyways. Avengers 185, The Yesterday Quest. Oh, here's another one. Dial H for Hero, Adventure Comics, $4.87. Dial H is such a fun concept because it's a, if you don't know about it, it's a dial that when you dial Hero on it, it gives you superpowers, but it never gives you the same superpowers as the last time. So the fun part of the concept is that this character, Robbie Reed, would have new powers in every story. They redid it, of course, with Hero in the early 2000s, and then with New 52, they did Dial H, which they've only done the trade for the first 6 issues. So I doubt they'll print any more. But Image Classics and Shadowhawk number 1, number 2, and number 3. I believe Shadowhawk was the first HIV positive character in a comic book, certainly the first HIV positive hero, or anti-hero, as it were, in a comic book. This is just a fun cover because it's a Mignola cover. Dark Horse Comics number 2, with Mignola drawing RoboCop, but definitely in his classic Mignola style. Wolverine Gambit. I believe this is number 4. Yeah, number 4. It's got the foil enhanced cover, of course. Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse number 1. And you get Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Peter Porker, and Spider-Punk up here. And then there's a Doc Ock up in the corner. That's just a great cover. Amazing Spider-Man number 1. This is the first appearance of the character who would become Silk. These are the really, really big ones. So these, I'm going to move this out of the way. These are the really big books. And this first one is a reprint. It is a very adult book, but it's just like an interesting concept and everything, and I've followed the series somewhat. Cherry Pop Tart number 1 reprint. The creator, Larry Vels, had to change the name to just Cherry, because obviously Kellogg's didn't want Pop-Tart associated with an adult comic book. But it's a pretty, I guess these were pretty low run reprintings, and probably not a very high print run originally anyways. So that just a cool keepsake to have. Power Girl number 1. This is the Adam Hughes variant. This is written by Justin Gray, Jimmy Palmiotti, with interior artwork by Amanda Connor. And Palmiotti and Connor are now working on a Black Label Harley Quinn miniseries, which would be coming out the next couple of months. DC The New Frontier number 1. This was Darwin Cook's opus. Darwin Cook passed away recently, in the recent history of comics anyways. One of his major contributions, it's certainly not his only contribution, was retelling the Silver Age of the DC universe. And it was really, really well done. His art style is very, it lends itself really well to a Silver Age book. But at the same time, if you've ever watched Batman Beyond, Darwin Cook did the credit sequence for Batman Beyond. So, I mean, he's also designed lines of characters. They, of course, did New Frontier figures for the story that he did. They did the animated adaptation. Definitely gone too soon from the comic book world and from the world in general. But Darwyn Cooke did leave a huge mark, working on a reboot of Catwoman and countless other things. And from what I've heard from other creators, I've never met him personally, but Darwyn Cooke was also a really great guy. So, and then this is the Opus. This is, oh, you know what? This is, I just now realized this is not the book that I thought it was. Ah, that's great. Okay, well, it tells you to pay attention to what you're doing, right? Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, #2. Really great condition. I don't know why I thought it was #1. Very clearly on the label says #2. It says #2 down here. I've been trying to find a #1 for my collection because I thought I had gotten a first print, but I had one of the Millennium editions with the gold foil stamp on it. And Dark Knight Returns is one of my favorite stories. Was #1 on my all-time comic book favorite stories. Did get booted out of the #1 slot and became the #2 slot, and has since been knocked out of the #2 slot by Akira. So, yeah, I mean, it's still another great copy to have. I'm not upset about that at all. It's just kind of funny because I was like, wow, that's a really great price for a #1. It would have been too great a price for a #1. But overall, I got to say, I had a ton of fun at Harley's, just goofing around with Bailey and Jason and Tony and Eric and Esperanza and Sam and Keith and Ronnie. Got to sell some of my books to a couple of different people. Got to draw a couple of really cool commissions, and picked up some gifts for some people for Christmas, including some great dog treats for the Bubbas. And I need to see if those individuals have cards, because I need to tell you guys who to contact to get dog treats, because they're phenomenal dog treats and the Bubbas love them. So probably will not do a video before Christmas. So until then, whatever you celebrate, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Yule, solstice, if you don't, and it's just New Year's, just hope you have a good winter season. You're staying warm, you're staying cozy, and you're taking care of yourselves, because that's super important at this time of year. Even if you don't celebrate anything, this becomes a super stressful time of year because there's less sunlight, and people are rushing around. This time of year brings out the best in a lot of people, but it also brings out the worst in a lot of people. And I think part of what we do to ourselves is we push ourselves because we think that's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to be happy. It's Merry Christmas. It's Happy Hanukkah. It's Happy Kwanzaa. It's Happy New Year. And I think that pushes us to just think that that's how we're supposed to think, and that's how we're supposed to be. And if you're not feeling your best time of year, you are not the only one. This is not a particularly fun time of year for me. This weekend was great for me because I got to be around people that I like and that I respect and I have fun with. So for 2 days, it really took my mind off of how much stress I normally feel during this time of year. So I hope you're taking care of yourself. Please get plenty of rest, exercise. It's easy to not eat healthy during this time of year, but try to eat healthy when you can. And just take a break when you need to. There's no shame in that. So you all have a wonderful night. Talk to you soon.